Welcome again. Today we will explain how to play the simulator. We will start with the quiz. When you open the questionnaire, the following window will be displayed. The first line specifies the amount of each product you have in store at the start of the week. The second line tells you what is your production plan this week. The third line tells you the amount of each raw material you have decided to use in your production plan. The units of the quantities that appear there are in kilograms. And surely, you will discover that these quantities far exceed the raw material that is really needed. The next line specifies the orders you have placed with your suppliers during this week. The last line shows you the demand reports at the end of the week. And this button will give you relevant information about the details of the operations. Click on it. Here, you will find all the information that is needed to answer the questionnaire. The time each product occupies in each machine, the quantity of each raw material that each product needs, the selling price, the information about the suppliers, and so on. I will return to the questionnaire. After the button with the information, you will find the questions. The first question refers to the number of minutes you will occupy some particular machine, when executing the production plan described above. As a suggestion, I recommend you to see the explanation given by Ernest in the previous video. Next question is about the number of kilograms of one of the raw materials that will be used to execute the production plan. You should consider that 1000 grams is 1 kilogram. This was also explained by Ernest in the previous video. The third question refers to how many kilograms are wasted from one of the raw materials. You must remember that the quantities that would be used in the production have already been decided, and that quantity that is not used must be discarded. The fourth question refers to the payments that will be made to the suppliers, due to the orders that were made during the week. This was explained by Jenny in the previous video. The fifth question concerns the operating costs of the machines. Remember that the operation of the machines generate costs. To answer this question, you must first obtain the time that each machine is used. The sixth question refers to the income you get from sales. For this, you must consider the sale price of the items, and also their demand. Remember that if the demand is greater than the amount available in the store, you only sell the pieces that you have in inventory. Finally, the last question refers to the number of units of one of the products that you will have available in the store at the beginning of the following week. As a suggestion, I advise you to consider how many units you had available at the beginning of this week, how many units were produced, and the demand. As you can see, the questionnaire is not complicated. And it will also help you to know if all these concepts are clear to you. When you finish answering, click on Finish Questionnaire. Also remember that you can solve the questionnaire up to 3 times. After completing the quiz, you will start the game. When you enter this board, in the upper right corner, you will find the money you have in the bank. And at the bottom, the button called Start Decision Process. Click on it. This window displays a lot of information, and the cells where you will have to make decisions. The first row shows the inventory units you have in the factory this week. The second row shows the number of units you have in the store at the beginning of the week. In the third line you must make your first decision. How many units of each item will be produced this week? Remember to consider the machine's time constraints. In the fourth row, the amount of each type of raw material available at the factory is displayed. Remember that each one has different quality, and that the weighted quality of production must be at least 90%. In the fifth line you will make your second decision. How many units of each type of raw material you will use in production. Below these decision boxes, are semaphores that are very important. They will indicate if the quantity of raw material is sufficient, the quality of each type of raw material, and the total quality of the production run. Finally, the last line asks you to specify if you want to place an order to your different suppliers. When you finish making your decisions, click on the button, End Turn. If this process of decision-making is difficult at first, we have designed a button called Decision Support. Click on it. As you can see, we have very similar information displayed, but now, there are also some graphics. These graphs help us visualize the amount of minutes available in each machine, and know if the amount of raw material we need is available. For example, suppose we want to produce 200 units of product 1, and 250 of product 2. We put those amounts in the first two boxes. As you can see, these bars move to the left, and let us see the remaining minutes that we have in each machine. And these bars also move and let us see the available raw material. If we continue traveling through this screen, we will find that there is also help for our second decision-making. In these boxes we must place the values that we have decided to allocate of raw material. And the help will show us the kilograms we have available. It will tell us if the quantity we have chosen is enough. And it will show us the weighted quality. In these boxes we must place the order quantity that we wish to request from our suppliers. And the blue bar will indicate our total costs in each item. If you are not convinced of your decisions, you can clear the data. If you are convinced of them, then you can transfer the data to the decision window. Or, you can close this window. If we transfer the data to the decision window, we will return to the previous screen. And now we click on End Turn. When we click, the weekly report screen appears, which is a report of income and costs. The screen shows us the demand for each item, the amount we had in inventory, sales, and item revenue. At the bottom, the disaggregated costs appear: wages, orders, and operation costs. Below, our profit or loss for the week is displayed. This total will increase or decrease our total in the bank. This amount is what you must add to or subtract from the money you had in the bank. Now, click on the button, Go to Transport. This window shows the quantities of finished product you have available, both in the factory and in the store. Now, we must specify the transport units we will use to move the finished product from the factory to the store. Here we place our fourth decision: how many transport units we want to rent this week. Each transport unit gives you a capacity in cubic meters for the products you want to transport. In the first scenario, there are only large units, and they have the capacity to transport 64 cubic meters. In the last line appears the volume that occupies each unit of each product. In the first scenario, all products occupy 0.08 cubic meters. That is, in the first scenario, for each truck that you rent, you can move 800 units from the factory to the store. In the last decision, you must specify how many units of each product you want to transport from the factory to the store. When you have taken the fifth decision, click on the End Turn button. And again we will start with this process. I hope all this explanation has been clear to you. The game has a duration of 52 weeks. When the game is finishing, you do not have to try to adjust your production, nor your supply of raw material. You must make your decisions in a normal way. The final score is calculated considering the finished product in the store and in the factory, and the raw material you have available. I hope that in this game you not only have fun, but also, that you learn trying to design different strategies, and thus get the maximum profit possible. In the following videos I will show you the characteristics of each of the different scenarios. I wish you lots of luck in the game, and hopefully we can find your score among the highest. See you soon.